go, Joe. Thanks for coming on the Vantage Point Podcast.
Thanks for
First
having.
of all, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Now you're a personal trainer. Tell me, do you think we're moving away a bit from the key message behind like fitness, which is, promoting a healthy lifestyle, as opposed to just a superficially making yourself good looking, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand. You just don't work out to look good. That's how
Yeah.
everybody starts, I believe. But there are people, they cannot lose weight because there are health problems, there are hormonal issues, right? But if they're trying, obviously it's yeah, I would totally like be 100% respect that person is still coming to gym, because I would say in 2020 that was the case with me during COVID times. Like, I was working out more than I do now, like 5 6 days like crazy from home because of lockdown, and I was still not losing weight, right? And but at the same time, if you are putting in the work, like, you are not seeing results, like, i it's sometimes that's there's some other issues. But yeah, we should be like, I think these days it's already everywhere. If you just turn on Instagram or anywhere, it's just all about fitness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in an age where there's more information than ever, but also more comparisons to be made than ever. Where maybe if you are a bit overweight, you look at social media, you think, "Oh, I'm never going to look like that," But you got to bear in mind as well, a lot of the people on social media, they take their photos at a certain time of the year when they look really shredded, and then they bulk up in the winter anyway, and that's how they put on the muscle. So it's a bit disingenuine. Would you agree? Like with social media, people just post like the best they look, and
Yeah,
people compare themselves to that.
I noticed that as well, and they're trying to like show their best angles, pop out their booties and stuff like that. And you know the drill, right? But I do feel like there are other background stories that they do not. Some of them they do being real, but some of them they don't tell you, like, how much of a struggle it is. If you're
Mm.
too shredded, let's say you are 0% body fat, your energy levels are gonna go down. They're not gonna talk about that. And also how much they crave for certain foods they don't take, they cannot take. Like, they have my respect because it's hard to get that body, but still, I'm just saying. So
Yeah.
everybody is different. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying what you see on social media a lot of the time, the people who with like
It's
really
not
shredded abs and
100%.
everything, it's not sustainable, right? Like it's not something any realistic person could maintain.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you should approach for realistic results. See what are your goals. Like, it happens to me sometimes too, even though I try to not compare. I just feel like it's just natural. Sometimes I'm like, okay,
Mm.
I work out too, or someone in older than me and I see them more shredded than me, and I'm like, okay, I get a complex too sometimes. Sometimes it's inevitable. But I feel like, everybody just always remember that you are different. And do you want to look like that person? If that inspires you, go ahead. Maybe do some research. What are they doing? Are you able to continue that? Can you be consistent with whatever you're going to start? If we are going to follow this diet, can I continue on this path, right?
Yeah, build a lifestyle more than like a workout routine necessarily. Build something that you genuinely enjoy, something that you can keep up essentially. Do you think
Yeah.
there's a bit of a do you think there's a bit of an unwillingness from a lot of people, um, you know, to start working out, to make a change, like for fear of failure, maybe?
Yeah, I know a lot of people actually in my group, especially, like, they want
Yeah,
to work
same.
out, like, oh my God, I want that ass, like, whatever. I'm sorry, but like, they don't start. And I'll tell you like a real story. One of my friend went to a gym, and then she took a complimentary, lesson from a personal trainer, and then she didn't like the way she was treated, and she got intimidated. She's like, I'm not going back. She's like, he was totally judging me. He was judging my diet. He was judging that. He asked her, like, what is this machine for? And she gave wrong
Mm.
answer. Like, it's like leg extension. She called it a cow raises machine or something. And he was totally judging her. So
Oh
sometimes
God.
people are just like, they, especially a beginner, it's hard for them. They're like, what do I do? Because when I started gym as a beginner, and I started with the women's section because I wasn't comfortable with my form, and I wasn't sure what I'm doing, to be very honest, right? So sometimes they don't know where to start. Simple.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let you in on a secret. I was having a similar conversation with my friend the other day, and I said to him, it was someone who's very new to the gym, and they were saying, you know, I'm a bit scared to go in the weight section. I don't want people to look at me like I don't know what I'm doing. And I told this person I'm friends with, like I didn't know what I was doing for my first like probably 3 years of training. I still don't know what I'm doing half the time. You know, I'm trying new stuff all the time. I'm still learning now. You know, people probably look at me and think sometimes, oh, that's not really the way you're supposed to do that. Maybe I'm trying something different. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. You know,
Oh
don't
my,
think so
can I
much
tell you
about
one
what
thing?
other people are doing.
I'll tell you one more thing with even now, like, because I'm short, I'm like 5'1", 2-ish. I would say 5'1", just keep it
Okay.
5'1". And sometimes, the leg press machine, and there are like 2, 3 in my gym, and I avoid trying some of them because I feel like if I'm too short and my legs wouldn't reach, and if someone's gonna laugh at me or something, because what if I couldn't adjust the board and stuff like that? I still avoid some of them. So even though I go to gym regularly, I'm a trainer now. I'm just telling you, like, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Oh, you
Yeah,
got a good reel out of that though.
the
I
real.
thought that
Oh
was
yeah,
quite
that
funny.
one.
Your reel.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was quite
yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah, he was really nice. The guy, he just came jumping and he helped me with it.
Yeah, that's the sort of people
Yeah,
you want to see
I
in the
would
gym.
just say anyone like who's new to gym, like always ask for help. Like I do this all the time. Sometimes what happens, I'm doing an RDL, and I put the weights on the rack and I start loading it. Then
Mm.
I'm like, oh my God, I can't lift it from here. Then I call someone, can you please help me put the rack down? Because it's just too much weight for me. And you keep forgetting sometimes.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, I've seen you describe working out as your therapy. Now, how much of a difference would you say going to the gym and working on your muscles, your body has made to your mental health?
So I just want to be clear, like for me, I would say gym is a therapy. I feel like it's because it's just a time where I'm just like being me. It's like more of a me time for me. And it is definitely an outlet to, relieve my stress and all that. But I just want a disclaimer, like if everybody is actually, they have been diagnosed with someone, or you cannot replace therapy with the gym, of course, right? But
Yeah,
if
of
you
course.
ask
Yeah.
me personally, yeah, then yeah, I totally go there, because it's totally me time. And even if I'm stressed out about anything work related or any issues, and once I'm there, I am present, because if you are present, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I disagree on with you there is I
Yeah.
think just from personal experience, now
Hmm.
I'm not saying I'm a therapist or anything, but I
Yeah.
think there'd be a strong case to be made that anyone with any kind of mental disorder, sort of or anything like your anxieties, depressions, anything like that, I think
Hmm.
going to the gym and really taking control of your body, yeah, and getting stronger, that gives you a deep mental strength as you progress and you get better in the gym. I think there
I
must
would
be
say
some
I would
correlation
say
there.
Yeah, so I agree to disagree. I wouldn't say that. A part of it I agree to, because it is one of the factors. It does
Yeah,
count to your overall mental health, but you need to work on yourself on other things, like you need to work on your self growth. And I am a person, if I'm feeling something, and I would feel it. If I want to cry out, I would cry out. If I don't want to talk to anyone for 2 days, I wouldn't. I feel like
yeah,
when you avoid certain problems, they would just keep on increasing. Because any trauma or
yeah.
whatever you go through, if you don't heal it properly, it's going to come back one way or another.
Fair enough.
Right?
I guess what you're saying there is there's other things to consider.
Yeah,
Like other,
along the way.
what else would you say um, are things you should work on in terms of overall just wellness?
Um, so I would say listening to anything like wellness related. Like for myself, like I listen to podcasts all the time, and you could read books. And I read books about transformation, and I always quote from my books in my captions, whatever I like. Sometimes I either take a photo or make notes, and I feel
Yeah,
like yeah, you work on yourself, you read books, go out. I think nature is also one of the best therapies. Yeah, if you have a pet, I feel like pets are best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want exercise, get a dog.
Get a dog. Get he or she will keep you moving. Even if you don't want to go out, you have to, right? Mhm.
What are your thoughts on positive self-talk, and what would you say that is?
So what I understand from positive self-talk is, if you know, the only time you need it most is when something goes wrong. You wouldn't care other times, right?
Mm.
Let's say, for example, it's something just happens and you feel like, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that, and then you're gonna keep beating yourself up for, maybe you were not even the wrong side, the other person did something, and then you beat yourself up. But I wouldn't do that, because I feel like even if it's your mistake, you shouldn't do that to yourself, and that's what it means to me.
Do you think people beat themselves up a lot?
um if sometimes when things go wrong, like when things go right, like nobody cares, like obviously it's like it's all good, right?
Yeah.
And let's say, for example, you go to gym all the time, right? And then 2 weeks passed, or after a month you're like, I'm not seeing any results, right? And you'll be like, okay, I want to quit. I cannot do this, I'm working hard, I'm a stupid person, I this and that. That's what I
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm talking about.
Blaming yourself for things that are essentially out of your control, because you can only make
Yeah,
progress at a certain rate, and
yeah.
talking to yourself negatively isn't going to help. So what would you say some of the things, or how would you approach self-talk? Do you actually talk to yourself, or is this all going on in your head? And whichever way you do it, what exactly do you say to yourself?
I just feel like, there's a part of you, like in your subconscious self, it's always listening. You don't really have to say it. Like, even if I'm sitting here, I have a negative thought, that also count as a negative self talk. You're not talking like as in physically talking. It's just whatever you think, whatever is going on in your mind, all the thoughts, they are self talk, because it's inside you, right? And
Mm.
you won't believe like how much one negative thought can affect your whole day.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's a
no, for sure.
person you met, they said something, and yeah, it's just, yeah. But back to the topic, I it's not a physical talk, it's like the thoughts that you're feeding yourself, that self-talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it's hard for people who do have like a very like negative perception of themselves, who have very negative self-talk, especially if then, like you were saying, they go out and they do have like a negative encounter with a person, they get in an argument with someone, and that thought does linger with you for the rest of the day, and it really does affect you. Like, even for me, it affects my mood for the rest of the day if I have a falling out with someone. And I guess it's the same way if you fall out with yourself, if you sort of notice something about yourself, and you get on this sort of negative spiral of thinking essentially bad stuff about yourself, you start to convince yourself it's true when realistically nothing's actually happened. You've just
Yeah.
imagined it, and it's not true.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's, you would feel like it was nothing, you just have to shift the
Mm.
focus, I guess. Like, you just tell yourself, I think being aware of what you're thinking is very important. If you catch yourself thinking something negative, you just like shift the focus to something else, and then you be like, okay, it was like nothing, why would I stressing so much?
Yeah. And about what we were saying earlier, sort of about, comparison, and, whether it's people on social media or your friends. Do you think people are often like threatened or discouraged by the success of other people?
Just on social media, or is like in general?
Both. Your friends as well, maybe. If a friend of yours is doing really well at something, and there's a bit of something in the back of your mind thinking, damn, why can't I be like that?
I just feel
You ever
like,
felt that?
I feel it all the time. I think nobody's gonna come on your face and say that, okay, I'm jealous of you, I'm jealous of your success. You just feel it. You can see
Mm.
people, the way people talk to you, the way they used to treat you has changed now, and you feel like nothing happened. We didn't have a fight, nothing happened. Why is this person so changed now? I feel it all the time, and there's nothing we can do, right? You just avoid those people, and if they don't matter, like, if that person really mattered to me, I would be upfront and ask them, right, what's wrong. But if it doesn't,
Yeah.
then no. But yeah, I feel like it's very rare somebody would be happy for you, especially if you know that person. Only there are a few people who would be really happy for you and appreciate you. But I feel like the people who don't know you, most of the time they are the ones. And I've seen many times, like when you put a post and then somebody else would post something, like it would be, they would pick few things from your topic and then they would say something else, as if like they're kind of like trying to attack on you. This used to happen to me earlier, but now I don't really bother.
Yeah, you don't let it get to you.
No.
No, that's good. That's good. I think it's good to, there's a healthy way you can sort of compare yourself with other people. But when it comes to jealousy and when that's reflected in how you start to interact with that person, then maybe it's an issue. Maybe look at what they're doing that's successful, you know, even if you hate them for it, and think, what can I take from that I can use in my own life that could benefit me? And that's the only way you should look at it, right?
Yeah, I think so too. But to be honest, I've been lucky, especially with Instagram. Like, I love my community. If you see like how many good comments are there, and if I go on TikTok, it's totally opposite. There's so much bullying going on there. I'm like, okay, I'm staying
Oh,
away
yeah.
from it for a while. I'm still like like getting recharged. I didn't go back to TikTok yet. But Instagram is really nice, and I feel like sometimes you just get random messages from people saying, they really appreciate you.
What's been some
Like,
of like the hard,
I wouldn't
sorry,
have
go on.
known you if you didn't like DM me one time, right? That's how you
Yeah.
build up your community, right?
What are some of the harshest like criticisms you've heard then, be it online or in person? And which of those have you thought, oh, that's something that I can work on, and has changed your perspective at all?
It would usually be like, oh, it doesn't look like you go to gym, or you need to gain weight. Even though I feel like I don't think I need to gain weight right now. I think
Mm.
I'm fine where I am, but they would say, it doesn't look like you go to gym, or you need to gain weight. There's nothing. What are you trying to show? And then when I read the comments, obviously you would feel for a second, you'd be like, okay, what did he just say? But then you think about it, then you're like, okay, no, it's just forget about it. And then, but one time when somebody said that, okay, I don't see any gym body. After that, I really crushed it in the gym, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna prove them wrong. Yeah.
That's interesting. So that was actually a really mean comment, but you
Yeah,
you decided to take that and be like, right, you know what, I'm not having that. And you went to the gym and smashed it.
I did
You turn
actually.
that into a positive. That's good.
Yeah, because they don't understand. Like, some people actually go to the gym to be jacked. They wanna be muscular. Some people just go there to be fit. Some people want abs, and other people, they just want like a flat tummy, right? So everyone is
Yeah.
different. If I don't have abs, doesn't mean that I don't go to gym, right? But because that comment, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get muscles now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's really good. Like, I think it's important for people, not to, with what we are saying about the self-talk and letting things get to you, weigh you down. And when you've got a consistent sort of workout routine, or things you're doing in your life that you know to be the right thing to do, and you can fall back on that and say, actually, you know what, I'm going to stick to this no matter what people are saying to detract me from doing that, people trying to pull me down because they're jealous of what I'm doing. Yeah. And sticking to your guns and going with it. And also taking the criticism and turning it into a positive, turning it into something that you can use to just fuel what you're doing already.
Yeah, and I really like it if someone tells me where I am wrong. Some people can
Yeah,
take it
that can
as,
be really helpful. Yeah.
yeah, how they say, like, you can't fix what you can't see.
Mm.
Sometimes you don't see it and someone else can pick it up and tell you, right? So you work on those things. That's why I always say, like, stay open-minded. Don't think that you know everything. Just, you have to keep learning. You cannot know. I don't think there's anyone in the world who knows everything. You talk to a lot of people, and same on IG. I believe like there are all kinds of people, and it's like so global. And there, I get to see like how things are so different in other countries, and it's just incredible, I guess.
Yeah. Now, somewhere I've never been before is Canada, and that's where you're from, right?
Yeah, I am from Canada. Yeah.
Have you always lived there?
No, I actually moved here in 2011, so it's been 12 years, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, well. Um,
Yeah.
I was going to ask, like, how much, having never been there, how much do you see bears? Is that a regular
Okay.
thing, or does that?
I've seen bears in my life. I've seen like 3 times, but you have to go
Right.
to the suburbs, like out in the outskirts, especially in those island areas. and people go there for camping all the time, and there are like mooses, there are bears, deers. Yeah.
Yeah, all sorts of wildlife. Do
Yeah.
you think with the gym training you've done, do you think you'd be strong enough to wrestle a bear off if it attacked you
As a trainer.
as a bear wrestler?
Oh, bear. Oh no, no way. I cannot. I would be the first one to be hiding, honestly.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a sensible thing to do, I think.
Do you remember like I've seen a coyote one night and one day, and then I just ran in the other direction. It was like a fox, like it's coyote, but yeah, I was like, oh my God, I can't do it.
So yeah, the lesson there is do your cardio.
Dear cardio, because I was able to run my dog.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Joe,
Yeah.
that's all we've got time for today. Thanks so much
All
for
right.
coming on the Vantage Point podcast.
No problem. Thanks for having me.